First off, can I get you to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Adrienne Minster. I'm the CEO of RatedPeople, which is the UK's largest home services marketplace with over 1 million homeowners using us every year to connect to 50,000 trades businesses across the UK.
With the coronavirus, we've seen an unprecedented situation where a lot of freelancers and a lot of builders, and in fact everybody, has been put out of sync. How do you think that's going to impact on them at the moment? And what has your research come up with?
Of course, yeah. We have visibility to about 5% of the market. So we've really seen, in general, home services have been hit about 50% during lockdown as far as the demand coming from homeowners for work being done. What we have seen, though, is now, in general, the country's almost back to pre-lockdown levels of demand. The Northwest in particular is basically back to flat. But in general, across the country, we're still about 8% down on what would be typical volume of requests that we'd be seeing right now for trades work.
Do you think the requests for risk assessments and the added burden of risk to people going into people's houses and other businesses is going to be more of a problem?
It's very important. So the government has outlined really clear guidelines for how to have work done safely in England, and there's increasing guidance coming in Scotland as well about how to have work done safely. And what is key to that is really what you've just pointed out, in that the communication up front about making sure that you do understand what is the work environment that an individual or a small group of people might be coming into, to make sure that they have access to hand washing facilities, or if not, they bring hand sanitizer with them, and that ideally you're able to maintain the social distancing both among the workers, if possible, on the job, but also with the homeowner or the customer that's getting their work done, to make sure that everyone can stay safe.
Do you think it's boosting anxiety, but with both customers and also the workers?
It certainly does, but we are seeing a lot of people want to be working, right? Like the majority of our trades customers want to be out there, want to be earning. They, of course, want to be doing that safely, but there's a real urgency to be working, and we're quite lucky in that the weather is really, really good right now, so loads of exterior work is carrying on. And we're seeing increased interest from homeowners who are now having to use their space in a totally different way, whether that's working from home or maybe having children that have come back or are now having to homeschool for a period of time. Now wanting to get to some of those projects that they've started to notice the cracks in the wall, or think about that paint color that they want to change. So now that in England, at least, we are able to do that work safely with guidance from the government, some of those projects can carry on. And then what we've been seeing a lot of demand for is really the exterior work, as people are trying to make sure that they can make the most of their garden space and their outside space, which is so much more important now as kind of a hub for the family socialization, because we're obviously restricted in other things that we can do.
Where have you seen a growth in the market at the moment, or is there any sector where you've seen more applications than normal?
Completely. And I think tree surgeons is up tremendously. It's up over 150% in the Northwest. Loft conversions is also exceptionally popular in and around Liverpool and the wider Northwest region. It's actually making up 40% of all loft conversion requests in the UK right now are coming out of the Northwest. So there's something happening there where everyone's trying to convert loft spaces right now. And then we've also seen a good increase in CCTV specialists, as people are trying to get their connectivity improved. Gardeners and window fitters are all up 40 to 60%.
Is there any area which you've seen a downturn in that it would surprise you?
Completely. Surprisingly, stoneworks is down 75%. And they were the hardest hit, particularly in Liverpool area. Through the lockdown, it was down well over 90%, and they're still down 75%, which is a bit surprising. And similarly, locksmiths and security specialists and bathroom and painting and decorating, those things are the discretionary interior work, which you'd expect to still be down. And that's still down 30 to 50%. But the locksmiths and the security specialists, it's quite interesting that they're suffering quite a bit because people are, of course, home more now, so they don't get locked out of their homes as often as they used to. So, that's been an interesting trend that we've seen happening.
Is there anything that, say, the market can do that would actually help itself? Is there anything you can advise to help take out the anxiety?
Yeah, well, I'd say, two things. First is, do be aware of what the government guidelines are, because I have given good guidance around how to be safe. You can find that information actually on RatedPeople.com if you want to go to our advice hub for both homeowners and tradespeople. We keep those articles up to date with the latest information all the time, so people can go and check there to understand how they can get work done safely, because there's a lot of demand to do work right now. The second thing that I would say is there's a lot of awareness about supporting your local businesses, and people, when they think of local businesses, are really thinking about their local shops, their local restaurants and pubs. But 1 in 5 businesses across the country is a trade service business, and we'd really encourage people to think about supporting their local trade services with work that is safe to do now, and just make sure that we are sort of keeping that important part of our economy ticking over, as it makes such a big share of the workforce.
Have you seen any businesses go under as a result? In your figures, does it show anything changing?
It's still early days, because a lot of people are seeing how they can weather the storm. And there is a certain number of businesses that will go out of business every year anyway in the trade services sector. But we are expecting, unfortunately, an increase in that this year. But some of the government support programs, particularly the bounce back loans, the support for self-employed, and for some of our larger customers, we support many big trade businesses as well. The ability to furlough staff and then unfurlough staff as a demand. All of those things are helping, hopefully, the large majority of trades businesses to stay in business through this. Which is what we're really focused on as a company, is really making sure that we keep them in business.
What type of trade businesses do you deal with?
Everything. So, we service, over 200 different job types. It's everything from pest control to big conversions or building works. And from a trades business standpoint, we'll support a sole trader, but we have many customers who started with us maybe as a small team that have now grown into a franchise operation and are, much bigger businesses that are coming to us to find, quality work on our platform. From great homeowners that are out there across the country that use Rated People all the time. And they're finding us a better marketing channel than even something like Google. It's a great way to find the work that they want that's available out there.
How do you actually do the rating of the trader?
Absolutely. So we do two things. So we do, three things really. We vet up front. So we reject about 1 in 5 applications to join the site. And we maintain a very stringent blacklist of businesses that we won't work with. We then monitor on our side what's happening. But the most important piece is really that homeowner feedback loop, which is a closed loop. So, homeowners can only rate work that's been done by tradespeople that have gotten it through the site. So we don't accept any ratings from other platforms or previous work that we can't validate. And then we obviously monitor those ratings, because sometimes you do find on many rating sites problems of fake ratings. We really police that very heavily and remove people from our site if they're found to be doing that immediately.
If anybody wants to find out more about taking part and joining yourselves, how can they do it? And also, how can people actually get on and find traders?
Yeah, so if you're looking to get somebody to do work in your house, go to RatedPeople.com or download our app, and it's free to post a job. You'll get up to 3 quotes. If you're a trades business that wants to be in control of how much work you do, go to RatedPeople.com again, and there's a Sign Up Now button on the top of the site, and you can either call our sales team to speak with them or submit a form, and we'll get back to you and get you going.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Appreciate it.